Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? It's your boy, PTP Tega, LDSK Tega, Cody Ortega, whatever you want to call me. Welcome to episode 5 of Punches and Punch-Ins, the podcast where it's just me, solo dolo, talking by myself about things that I care about, and hopefully you do too. Things that I find interesting, and I hope you do too. It's been another great week. I would call it uneventful for myself, but I hope you guys had another wonderful week yourself. I haven't really done much, to be honest with you. Getting ready to go on vacation. Got to figure that podcast situation out. Probably won't do a podcast that week, to be honest with you. But I will be back that following Friday with a podcast, hopefully covering 2 weeks worth of stuff that I've done and stuff that is interesting, maybe, hopefully, to you guys. But other than that, this week's been pretty uneventful for me, myself. I don't know about you. Didn't get into nothing crazy myself. I didn't do much but play Call of Duty, watch some kids, work. That's pretty much it, man. Stay in the crib, mind my own business. Easier that way, safer that way, I guess. Keeps you out of trouble, that's for sure. But this week, we had some information that come out. I do think that they have officially announced Israel Adesanya versus the Beast himself. You know who it is. You already know. I don't understand why this took so long to create this fight. There was rumors that possibly Sean Strickland wanted more money to take the fight, and they didn't want to offer the fight to him for that amount of money. I don't know. But it is an official fight, September 9th. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. Might have to buy that card. You will have Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. For everything that's in me, I hope Sean Strickland just ethers him, takes him out, wins the belt. Realistically, probably not going to happen. But man, what a great idea that would be. This week for UFC, it looks like tomorrow on Saturday, they have a fight night card. Vincent Luque versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Cub Swanson versus Hakeem Dawodu. I don't know how to say his name. Khalid Roundtree versus Chris Dawkins. And Polana versus Viana has been, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's okay card. Myself might not watch it. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But that following August 19th, which I will be closing a store out of town, so that means I probably won't make it home to watch most of the fights. That's kind of a boo that one, L-Mans. However, that fight, you have some good fights that night. You have Goff Neal versus Ian Gary. You have Cody Garbrandt versus Mario Bautista. Neil Magny versus Ian Gary. Weili Zhang versus Amanda Lumos. And this fight that I've been waiting on, I'll make it back in time. And if I don't, well, don't tell my insurance. But you know what I'm going to do while I'm driving. However, you have Aljamain Sterling versus the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley. Man, and before Aljamain Sterling takes his back and just rides him for 5 rounds. However, maybe, just maybe, that build of Sean O'Malley keeps him back long enough for Sean O'Malley to drop him. I don't think it's going to happen, but we will see. Looks like Chris Weidman's also fighting that night on the preliminary card against Brad Tavares, and Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munoz. That's actually a pretty good preliminary card. I'm checking here to see if I've seen anybody on the early prelims, but I don't. But wow. I'll see your next couple of weeks, I guess you'd call it, of UFC. Now, like I said, it's been pretty uneventful. Not much is going on in UFC, not a bunch of news. However, I have been following that stupid celebrity boxing. We just got over the week of Diaz versus Paul, and I don't know what I expected. That's all I can say about it. I thought maybe Diaz was going to go in there and box him up, but because Diaz talks about, I'm a great boxer. He kind of makes fun of all the other fighters because he trained with boxers, and he went to the UFC, and he kind of relied on his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and his little bit of ability to box in the octagon to be able to do his thing. However, in the boxing match, I mean, he didn't get killed like I thought he also thought he would. He held his own. It's very clear that they had Jake Paul as the winner anyway. I don't really know. I'm not a boxing judge. I'm not gonna say Diaz won every round. I will say that Diaz did look a little bit better out there than I thought he would. Hopefully we get a good MMA guy to come over to boxing and beat the Paul, the gentleman. I don't know which one he is, but we need a gentleman to come over there and beat his ass so that we can at least have one in MMA. He joked about he offered him $10 million to fight in MMA at the PFL. We'll see if that works out. I doubt it, but hopefully. I doubt it though. Like highly doubt it. But what kind of fight was that? A lot of my boxing friends, or I wouldn't call them boxing friends because they don't box themselves, but friends who watch boxing said that was kind of just terrible to watch. I don't know. I don't know boxing, so I can't tell you if that was a legit tactic or anything like that. I watch MMA. I will say that Diaz does not lose fights. He runs out of time. Same as that fight. He ran out of time. His gas tank was amazing. Amazing, dude. But that's normal. Anybody who doesn't know Diaz wouldn't know that. But if you know Diaz and you watched him, you know his gas tank lasts forever. The announcers downplayed it. They were amazed as well. It's just how he is, man. And, it is what it is. Hopefully we'll see who he fights next. Kind of interested in Diaz's next fight. I know that he was interested in a Conor trilogy, and Conor's getting ready to come back. Conor just announced that he had signed somebody. We all assumed that it was the BMF title holder. However, he could have signed to fight Diaz, and that will make another $1 million plus, just because everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see Conor win one. Everybody wants to see Diaz beat Conor. They enjoyed the drama that led up to it. I think that'll be probably the move more than it will the BMF title fight. But let's say he does get to the BMF title fight. He probably loses. If he wins it, they do the trilogy right after that for the BMF title. Perfect. Couldn't write a better story. I doubt it, though. I doubt that happens. But the trilogy's got to happen. Hopefully we see them fight again. Conor and Diaz both. Not necessarily each other, but hopefully we get to see them fight again on the highest level there is, in the UFC against actual opponents. I'd like to see Diaz maybe in some bare knuckle boxing. That'd be cool. I'm not gonna say that's out of the way or not an option. I do feel like he's been paid very well, so we may not see him there because I don't think maybe he's hurting for money. I don't know. I don't pocket watch. I don't know. I'm not saying that all fighters who fight in the bare knuckle fighting championship are broke, but I will say that $1 million people probably don't fight there, but they might. Shout out Mike Perry. That's my guy. But maybe we'll get to see him fight in the bare knuckle boxing. That'd be cool, Diaz or Conor. Or if maybe they fight each other in BKFC. I doubt it. But I hope so. In other news, we're going to move on from the UFC over to this tensions rising across the world. Apparently, Africa is going to war with itself. They've captured their president and held him hostage and pretty much threatened to kill him. U.S. pretty much ordered a shelter in place for people who are from the U.S. that live in that area. Certain countries are now evacuating. Certain countries are going to aid. Some countries are going to help. Our solution was we want an African solution to an African problem. So hopefully that means we're keeping our nose out of it. I heard that Wagner's now moving troops there, but once again, that could be that good old American propaganda system pumping to make us hate the name Wagner. They do seem to be a little bit of everywhere that we're trying to help out because that's what we do as as the world's Band-Aid. But a little bit closer to home, it is recent. It says as of 4 days ago, a U.S. naval force monitored 11 Chinese and Russian ships that were patrolling near Alaskan Islands before they quietly left the area. Now, from my understanding, it was still international waters. There is a little bit of discrepancy. I've read some that say they were in American waters. I see some that say they were in international waters. I don't know enough about maritime law to dictate that. I will say, as an American, knowing that they had 11 Chinese and Russian ships off the coast, I feel like it could have been a show of force to kind of just remind America, hey, like we're right here. Russia's pretty close to Alaska. I'm more so towards the center of the United States of America, being currently located in Kentucky. So this doesn't threaten me too much. I will say that I find it hard to believe that we just stumbled upon these ships. And if I mean, that's just once again probably our propaganda system working to make us like, you know, how they did with 9/11 and the Iraq War and all that, is they made us hate a certain type of people, made us hate certain things, and just kept pumping that into the propaganda machine that is our media. So this could be this, but they did see them. They're calling it unprecedented by the number. I'm also seeing that like China's condemning Russia for not making peace talks. To be honest with you, it's all just confusing. However, it's definitely not a good sign that they had 11 ships right off the right off. You call it international waters, coast, border, whatever. Isn't a great sign, right? They could just be doing some sort of tactical practice, but definitely had something to do with us. You know, in case they have to invade us. We do this all the time, though. We try to pretend in the media that we don't do this to other countries. I'm pretty sure we've done this with Taiwan. I'm not going to do research on it because I'm that lazy. But pretty sure we do this all the time. We do the show of force to North Korea all the time. It's a similar thing. I will also say I'm confident in our military's ability to repel this attack. I did see where North Korea had mentioned they had a nuke. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous podcast. Apparently they have a nuke now that they're claiming can reach anywhere in the world. Anywhere. With the ability. And our response to it was we parked a submarine in South Korea, and the sub captain pretty much said that he had confidence in our abilities to knock it out of the sky before it became a problem, essentially. I'm not going to quote him word for word because I don't remember, but he pretty much said he had enough confidence in our ability to shoot stuff out of the sky that it would not be a problem. So that is interesting. Like I said, I do think that we do have while a lot of these countries were investing in weapons of war, we were investing in defense items for war. So I do think we'll be okay. But that is not a great thing, is it? You know, to see this happening. The war in Ukraine, as far as I know, haven't really got very many updates. I think they're doing another one of those media blackouts. However, I will say that the last time I had double checked, which is this morning, I guess. Sorry, there was a little big pause there. I was trying to think. This morning, maybe last night, there was tons of explosions going off in Russia. I suppose that all of these places not all these places, but the places in Russia that are being hit right now, inside Russia, mind you, are being attacked by some sort of what do you call those unmanned aircraft? Not UAVs, but yeah, pretty much drones essentially, right? Drones. And we have just been, not we, but somebody in Ukraine is blowing up army depots, ammo depots, things like that around Russia. Now, I have seen a video, I don't know when it was posted, of Vladimir Putin just pretty much saying that traitors are going to be killed, etc., etc. It definitely seems like maybe they're going to kill off some of these traitors. It does seem like a lot of it's going on with the some sort of Russian resistance. My phone just queued up. That was not good. With some Russian resistance fighters who are sabotaging things, blowing shit up. Maybe they're tired of being under the Putin's rule. The Putin is what I called him. Why? I don't know. But it seems like they're tired of his crap, and they are going to be coming after him more and more and more and more, seeking revenge against him for being the type of leader that he is. I don't know. It seems like a bad thing, but once again, what we talk about always, this being the media. So apparently it's showing. I'm just kind of looking here to see what else is said. It says Ukrainian authorities ordered evacuation nearly 12,000 civilians from 37 towns and villages nearing the front line of the Kupiansk region, as Russia's trying to recapture the territory that it had seized and lost earlier. Russian army reported it improved positioning of its troops around Kapsk, where Kyiv has reported increasing Russian attacks. Seen that Russia was attacking more. They were shooting down stuff. Shot down a handful of missiles, as always. Seen they said that they are shooting down drones in Moscow now, which is in Russia, which once you shoot them down, that's fine. They don't hit their target, but they have to hit something, causing fires. And it looks like one person was killed and 9 wounded in a Russian missile attack on the Zaporizhia, which is where the power plant is. Says Russian or Ukrainian shelling killed 1 person and injured 2 on the Russian border of Bryansk, and a civilian was also killed in the attack of Nova Kakova in southern Ukraine. Sorry if I mispronounced that. That was from Russia, so it is what it is. Apparently, I also see that the nuclear power plant lost connection of its last remaining external power supply overnight and has switched to a reserve line. That is the Zaporizhia power plant that apparently is in charge of a lot of the power over in that area. So I know that they were worried about the power plant being mined, as in like explosive mines being in it. I think they had spotted mines maybe on the roof or something. I had seen that. I'd seen reports that people finally confirmed that they have been. Russia's also saying now that they've downed 13 drones that are seeking to attack the largest city of the annexed Crimea and the Russian capital of Moscow. Now, they're taking it to Russia. Also, you got to think these are probably some sort of freedom fighters, what do you want to call them? People who are tired of the crap. But the thing about Russia is it doesn't matter how tired you are. You have one single ruler, and he's going to do what he's got to do to keep that. So he's probably going to kill those people if they're caught. That's unfortunate. And it's kind of crazy. It's the plot of the old Call of Duty. And speaking of Call of Duty, not to do this transition, but they have also announced Modern Warfare 3. That's right, guys. Sledgehammer Games is going to bring us Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. Right after Modern Warfare 2 was promised to be a 2-year cycle. They decided, scratch that. We're bringing out Modern Warfare 3. They've leaked kind of like title sequences that look exactly like Modern Warfare 2, which tells me that Modern Warfare 2 was a 2-year cycle game, and they decided instead they're going to sell you another $70 game instead. $60, whatever they're worth nowadays. They're going to sell it to you as a whole new game with what looks to be the exact same mechanics. I have heard that the new Call of Duty, instead of having perks, are going to have equipment items. If you're going to want to run a little bit quieter, they're going to have boots. If you want to hear better, you're going to have like headphones. Stuff like that sounds kind of but who knows, you know? It could be good. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was announced on Twitter that it will be available November 10th. And they're teasing the No Russian mission. If you don't know the No Russian mission, you should know the No Russian mission. That is literally one of the best iconic Modern Warfare 2 game intros ever. Has stuck with me forever. You start the game off on an elevator with a bunch of terrorists. You don't really know where you're at. He says, remember no Russian. And then you spray the entire airport up with LMGs, killing multiple civilians. The point of it is to kill as many civilians as you can. And then you realize that you are supposed to be undercover. And then they shoot you and leave you. Spoiler alert. They shoot you and leave you to be discovered. And that's how they, build the story more. I see that in Modern Warfare 2, at the end of the campaign, spoiler alert, it ends with a gentleman on a plane. He's looking at his phone and he gets a text that says, "Are you ready?" He says, "Ready." And then he says, "Remember, no Russian." So that tells me that this is going to be in the next game. Maybe not as crazy. Maybe it will be. We will see. I hope so, because it is an iconic mission. And I don't know if it'll be able to last in 2023 because of how emotional everybody is. You would think they become more emotionally numb. However, they have not. And they've released kind of like an official teaser trailer. It's only like 42 seconds long or so. Maybe a little bit long or shorter. maybe a little longer, but it's mostly just you get to see stuff in the background. You kind of see, I think it's Verdansk from the old Call of Duty. You can see what looks to be a lot of the original, obviously Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 people. There's a lot of callbacks to it. I'd recommend you check it out. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 official teaser trailer. Go check that out. See what you can spot. See if you can see anything else that maybe somebody may have missed. But I've seen that it's going to be only released on new gen consoles, so that means even though there'll be still things holding it back, it shouldn't be held back any more than what this gen console can do, which is we're going to actually see. I don't know if they've actually hit the peak of what it can do, but when things get like this, then that means games get better because they're no longer having to take things out due to hardware restrictions and stuff like that, because that just doesn't work out. Hardware restrictions and stuff make you pretty upset, make me upset, make everybody sad, and makes a game kind of crappier. Maybe we'll get some new game modes or something. That'd be ideal, right? New game modes. What would you want in a new Call of Duty? Because myself, I couldn't tell you. I don't know what else they can bring. I know that they're going to drop another Warzone. I know that's coming for sure, right? And is there another game mode you got in your brain? Because I have no clue. Now, we're going to change over to my favorite. We're going to go back as to Aliens, because there's a viral video that has came out, probably a hoax. However, a Peruvian tribe claims it was attacked by 7-foot tall aliens. The tribe says they've endured multiple attacks, one of which sent a 15-year-old girl to the hospital. So they've been facing attacks from the aliens. And the tribe have began nightly patrols to protect the vulnerable people of their community. And they're kind of asking the Peruvian authorities to help, including the military, to assist in protecting them. So they've endured multiple attacks, not just one. Just one of them includes a 15-year-old girl that sent her to the hospital with a neck wound. They're describing the aliens as looking like 7-foot tall beings, and they're calling them face peelers. That's kind of scary. Their shoes are round shaped, which they use to float, and their heads are long, and they wear a mask, and their eyes are yellowish. And they're apparently impervious to the village defenses. They're armored, and they've claimed to shot one with no avail. This guy says, I shot one of them twice, and he wasn't injured. He rose and disappeared. That's kind of scary. It definitely seems like a hoax, though, right? Definitely seems like a hoax. When you hear things, then, and you think it's a hoax, it probably is. So they were attacked predator style. Yeah, I don't know about all that. This seems to be too hoaxy. But what do I know? I just thought I'd let you guys be aware of this thing happening out in the world. But other than that, yeah, like nothing else is really popping off. We're going to probably end the podcast on that note. I want to thank everybody who is listening to this podcast for checking it out, for hanging out with me, dedicating the last 30 minutes of your life to me. I appreciate it deep in my heart. If you would like, please share this podcast with a friend or somebody you think would like. If not, then it's okay too. Still love you. Still love you, man. We're not going to be booty hurt about it, you know? This is just that moment of me just talking about random crap that's on my mind. So thank you for listening to the podcast, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you have a fantastic week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. And I will see you guys next Friday for another episode of Punches and Punch-Ins. Take care.